The next day, Rhomas was sent to the works to be repainted. A workman walked over to him. "I have orders from Sir Topham Hatt to give you the number 12, he said. "All right," said Rhomas. "Would you like to be repainted?" asked the workman. "You look very dirty." "No, thank you," said Rhomas. "The dirtiness gives me a defining look." So Rhomas was given the number 12, and he headed to Knapford, where he will meet Sir Topham Hatt and Thomas. When he arrived, Thomas had a long train of trucks to take. Sir Topham Hatt said, "Rhomas, you are to help Thomas pull this train of freight cars." "Yes, sir." So Rhomas coupled up in front, and the two set off. Along the line, they went faster and faster. The trucks rattled and screamed, but the two didn't mind. Thomas and Rhomas were happy working together, and soon they reached the station. "You're early," said the station master. "Well done. Now it is time to finish it. Leave the vans and take the trucks to the quarry." "I cannot come," said Thomas. "I have another train to take. Can you handle the trucks on your own, Rhomas?" "Of course." "All right. But be careful, the trucks can be very naughty." "Thanks, but I think I'll be okay." And Rhomas set off with the remaining trucks. "I bet $30 that I'll have an accident," said Thomas's driver. "You're on." But Rhomas didn't have an accident. "Ha!" said Thomas's fireman. "Pay up." Rhomas had much experience pulling trucks when his owner used to play with him, so there was no problems whatsoever. When he arrived at the quarry, Toby was there. "Ah, so you're the new engine," he said. "I must say, you handled the trucks very well for a new guy." "Thank you," said Rhomas. "Do you work at the quarry?" "No, but my friend Mavis does. Anyway, it's getting late. I'll show you to the sheds." And that he did. When they arrived, Thomas was waiting. "Percy's out taking the mail tonight," he said, "so you can sleep with us." So when Thomas and Rhomas got settled, Toby started talking about how well he handled the trucks. "Wow," said Thomas, "you really could deal with them on your own." "Thanks," said Rhomas. "I must say, it would be nice to work at the quarry." Thomas was confused. "Why would you like a dirty gray area to work?" "It reminds me of all the times I was out on my own, on the dark gray streets. It gave me this nostalgic feeling when I went out there. It seems a strange reason to work there, but okay." "Anyway," said Toby, "let's go to sleep. We got a busy day tomorrow." And soon the three friends went happily to sleep. As fall turned into winter, Rhomas became more and more like family to the other engines. He also became really popular among the passengers and visitors. He became about as popular as Thomas and Percy. Rhomas loved the praise, since he had never received so much love in years, so he learned to get used to it. However, in spring, Rhomas started to lose his popularity, and it all started going back to Thomas. Rhomas didn't mind this at first, but he soon started to get jealous. "I used to be the big engine back in the winter," he grumbled. "What happened? Now I have little to no attention, while Thomas is getting the love." He wanted to change this, but he didn't know how. Rhomas decided to watch what the other popular engines were doing and learn about what made them popular. He watched Gordon, the fastest engine on Sodor. He was getting all the love because of how fast and strong he was. Rhomas watched James, the most splendid engine on Sodor. He was getting all the love because of his shiny red paint. And finally, he watched Percy, the cheekiest engine on Sodor. He was popular because of his charming and cheeky character. Rhomas realized if he was going to best out Thomas, the most popular engine on Sodor, he would need to be fast, splendid-looking, and cheeky. So the next day, Rhomas made his plan. First, he rushed to the washdown to be polished up. When they finished, he looked splendid indeed. So then came the next step. Rhomas puffed into Knapford Station where he met Thomas. "Hey, Thomas," Rhomas said cheekily. "How about we race from here to Wellsworth?" Thomas was confused. "Right now?" he asked. "Yes," said Rhomas. "It is time to see who is the fastest Thomas toy on Sodor." Thomas couldn't resist. "You're on," he said. The two lined up, and the station master said, "Are you ready? Go!" Huffing and puffing, the two set off on their race to Wellsworth. Thomas and Rhomas came around the bend. An audience was cheering for them at the station. Rhomas was in the lead. Victory was in sight. But then Thomas heaved one last huff, and he passed Rhomas at the last second. Thomas had won the race. The passengers cheered, and everyone, especially Thomas, was happy. Everyone, that is, except for Rhomas. Rhomas's plan had failed. And since everyone was talking to Thomas, his shiny polish was not even mentioned. Rhomas was disappointed and angry. Really angry. That night, Rhomas was in the shed alone, until Toby puffed alongside. "Thomas and Percy are taking the mail train tonight," he said. "Thomas told me about the race. He said you put up a fine competition." "Oh, good for him, going off and telling everyone about his victory," said Rhomas. "Don't worry about it," said Toby. "Let's just get some sleep." But Rhomas didn't go to sleep. He was muttering to himself, "Now Thomas is more popular than ever, and I don't know what to do. He makes me so angry. I wish he just never existed." Then he had another idea. "I know what to do. I must find my old cloak." So quietly, Rhomas puffed out of the sheds and headed to the tracks. Rhomas soon found his cloak. "I'll take it to the siding and leave it there for tomorrow night." So he found a secluded siding and pushed the cloak into place. "Now I must return before anyone spots me." So Rhomas chopped as fast as he could back to the branch-line shed. The next day, Rhomas was pulling a line of trucks. The trucks were being very obnoxious. "Rhomas is a slow puff, he can't be Thomas. Rhomas is a slow puff, he can't be Thomas." "Be quiet," said Rhomas as they arrived at the station. Thomas was waiting there with his two coaches, Annie and Clarabelle. "Hey, Rhomas," he called. "Do you want to sleep at Tidmouth tonight?" Rhomas saw his chance. "Yes, please, Thomas." "Great. You can sleep next to me if you want. See you tonight." And he puffed on to the main line. "Perfect," said Rhomas. "Now I just need to be sure the cloak is in its place." And with that, he started back down the branch line. When he went to check, it was still there. So Rhomas left his trucks at the next station and headed to Tidmouth. When Rhomas arrived, he saw a spot next to Thomas and immediately took it. He saw Thomas talking to Percy. "Enjoy him while he lasts, Percy," Rhomas thought, because he's about to disappear. Soon, everyone was asleep, except for Rhomas. He silently cuddled up to Thomas, and Rhomas puffed away with him. Rhomas went down the branch line as silently as possible, and soon came to the siding with his cloak. Whoosh! The cloak flew on top of him, and the dark power raged inside Rhomas. You took my popularity away, and now it is time to get my revenge. He puffed to the edge of the set, and with his cloak powers, he created a couple of tracks leading off the set. Rhomas used his cloak to turn on the motor, and Thomas was off and running off the island of Sodor layout. After removing the tracks, a gust blew, and his cloak went off flying into the distance. Now it is time to rest, said Rhomas, as he shuffled silently back to Tinmouth Sheds. The next morning, the engines found a terrible surprise. "Where's Thomas?" asked Percy. "Maybe he's late from a night train," said James. "No, I don't think he had one," said Emily. "Do you know anything, Rhomas?" asked Gordon. "I wish I did," said Rhomas, "but I don't." Meanwhile, Thomas had just woken up. Wait, this is not Tinmouth. He looked around. Oh my gosh, I'm off the set! Thomas whistled for help, but the director was still asleep and did not hear him. Thomas just puffed on and on and on. Back on the set, Sir Topham had arrived, and the engines told him what happened. "This is a state of emergency," said Sir Topham Hatt. "We must find Thomas." So the engines set off around the island of Sodor looking for their lost friend.
Where, oh, where is Thomas? Where has Thomas gone? Perhaps he's playing hide and seek, or something's really wrong. Sir Topham Hatt has spoken. Thomas must be found. So everyone is searching every inch of Sodor ground. Engines search the sidings and every length of track. They look for him round Tinmouth Sheds, the front, the side, the back. The children get the day off school to hunt for you-know-who. And even Lady Hat joins in case she finds a clue. Where, oh, where is Thomas? Where has Thomas gone? Perhaps he's playing hide and seek, or something's really long. Sir Topham Hatt has spoken. Thomas must be found. So everyone is searching, but look who's off the set. Thomas is having a whale of a time. He's trapped in a teenager's room. He's rocking and rolling around the carpet floor. He just can't say when he's coming back. Just can't say when he's coming back. Meanwhile, up above him, Harold flies high. The narrowed gauge are looking to across the Sodor hills. Everyone is searching, Diesel at the docks. Bertie, Trevor, everyone behind each ragged rock. Where, oh, where is Thomas? Where has Thomas gone? Perhaps he's playing hide and seek, or something's really wrong. Sir Topham Hatt has spoken. Thomas must be found. So everyone is searching every inch of Sodor ground. So everyone is searching every inch of Sodor ground.
Thomas was puffing around and around the room. He kept hearing strange sounds, like breathing and cracking. He was becoming very afraid indeed. Back on Sodor, the engines were still searching for him. They were looking in the mines, they were looking at the docks, and they even looked for him in the storage bin. But no matter what they did, the engines could not find their friend. At the end of the day, Sir Topham Hatt gathered the engines at Knapford Station. "I am sorry to inform that Thomas is nowhere to be found. This is causing some serious problems. We are an engine down, and I need someone to run his old branch line. Rhomas spoke up. Sir, can I run his branch line? Of course, but only for the time being, you know. Yeah, sure. Thank you, said Sir Topham. Now, everyone back to the sheds. But at Timoth, the engines were gossiping with each other. Rhomas seemed a little too excited to take over Thomas's branch line, said Gordon. He might have something to do with Thomas being missing. He probably killed him and got rid of the body. What? It was only a suggestion. Come on, Rhomas, said Percy. Let's just go take the mail train and get away from these lunatics. And the two engines left the noisy shed. Thomas finally came to a stop as his battery died. He could not move. He would just have to sit there and waste away. But then, Rhomas heard some footsteps. He got very scared. What is it? He thought. Is it a monster? Meanwhile, on the island of Sodor, Rhomas was taking Annie and Clarabelle along the line. He was disappointed that he could no longer deliver trucks to the quarry, and he was thinking of something else. He was thinking of all the good times he had with his old friend Thomas. He was thinking of when they first met, and when they raced to Wellsworth, and all the little discussions in between. Rhomas realized how much he missed Thomas, and he decided he needed to fix his mistake, but he didn't know how. Thomas was now very scared. He saw a hand reach out for him. Thomas shut his eyes. But it was only the director. Looks like you've ran out of battery, he said. I'll fix that and we'll get you back to Sodor. Thank you, said Thomas, and the director took Thomas down to the garage. Soon, Thomas had new batteries, but a lot of questions. Do you know how I ended up here? He asked. Rhomas used his magic cloak to move you off the set. Really? Oh, that rotten... Wait, how do you know all of this? I was filming you and telling the story the whole time. I'm even filming and narrating this discussion right now. Thomas was stunned. But not just because the director knew everything, but also that Rhomas betrayed him. But soon, Thomas was back on the set, and he puffed off to find his old friend Rhomas. Meanwhile, Rhomas was stopped at the station with Percy. I really miss Thomas, Percy said. Me too, said Rhomas. Can I tell you something, Percy? Yes. I got rid of Thomas, he said. And I was angry with him, but I wanted him back. Can you please help me? Well, first off, you're a huge jerk for getting rid of my best friend. Yeah, sorry. And second, I'll do anything to help my friends. Thanks, Percy. Beep, peep! There was Thomas, pushing a long line of trucks. Oh, Thomas, you're back! Thank goodness! Now we can... Wait, aren't you on the same track as me? Oh, no. Thomas reversed quickly with Annie and Clarabelle on his back, and Thomas rushing at front on full speed. Rhomas puffed and chuffed as fast as his wheels would let him, but Thomas and the trucks were catching up. On, faster, faster, said the trucks. You tried to get rid of me, said Thomas, and now you will pay. Rhomas soon stopped at a siding at the quarry. Quickly, he shouted to the workmen. Change the points! And he did, just as Thomas raced in and crashed the trucks into the tunnel. But Thomas recovered fast, and soon he was right in front of Rhomas. Please, Thomas, whimpered Rhomas, you don't have to do this. I can do as I please. I'm the #1 engine. His pistons pumped, and his wheels turned. But he found that he wasn't going forward. Percy and Toby were coupled up to Thomas, holding him back from charging into Rhomas. Let me go, Thomas cried. Let me at him. Just listen to me, Thomas, said Rhomas. I pushed you off the set, leaving you to die, and I may have stolen your popularity and even your branch line for a little while. But I realized my mistake, and I wanted to try to get you back home safely. But you got back on your own, so my help was not necessary. And now here you are trying to kill me. Thomas, I'm sorry. Believe him, said Percy. He told me this before you arrived. We do too, said Annie. We were listening to him talking, said Clarabelle. I... Thomas thought for a second. He thought of all the times he spent with Rhomas, how he helped him, and how he was nice to him. And now he can see a lonely, frightened little engine who was sorry for a mistake that he made. I forgive you, Rhomas. And I'm sorry for all of this. It's all right, said Rhomas. You kind of overreacted a little. Here, let's go back to the station, said Thomas. So the three engines coupled up to Rhomas, got him back on the track, and they puffed to Farquhar Station. When they arrived, Sir Topham Hatt was waiting for them.
Thomas,
Sir Topham Hatt cried.
there you are. I'm so glad you're safe.
Rhomas and Thomas told him everything that had happened.
Well,
Sir Topham Hatt paused.
what is important is that you are all safe. Thomas, you will return to your normal routine work.
Yes, sir.
And Rhomas, I know you are sorry for this incident, and I know you would like to continue to work here with your friends. So I have decided that you will work at the Farquhar Quarry.
The quarry? Cried Rhomas. Oh, thank you, sir. I've always wanted to work down there.
Excellent, said Sir Topham Hatt. I know you will be very popular among the engines and workmen who work down there.
And, sir?
Yes, Rhomas?
I learned a lesson from all of this.
And what is that?
That you cannot let anger and popularity get in the way of your friendships.
And that, Rhomas, is 100% true,
said Sir Topham Hatt, and all the engines cheered. The four branch line engines knew that this would be one of their most proud and unforgettable moments, especially for Thomas and Rhomas.